Hey loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day. Now let's get the first two orders of business out of the way. Yes, I look very dry. Yes, I've been gone. So for those of you who have been following, you know that I recently had to have a medical procedure done, so I took some time off. I've also been stressing about this whole needing to build a house situation or buy a house, whatever is going to end up happening. If you want to follow that journey, it is taking place on my other channel. But then work has also been hella stressful. And then this last week was my honey and I, our 25th wedding anniversary, which was supposed to be in Tokyo, but whatever. Anyway, so we decided to take a few days and hop on over to Vegas. And so I have been out of the mix. But on the flight home today, I caught up on Ladies Who List and what was probably like the sorriest reunion of any reality show ever. I'm sorry, but OWN Network, you all do not know how to do a good reunion show unless maybe you let like Carlos King host or something like that. No disrespect to Tanika Ray, but she's just not a good host for a reunion. She doesn't dig deep. She doesn't make them answer the questions. She lets up real easy, and she just plays way too nice in the sandbox to make an interesting reunion. If I had to rate this reunion on a scale of 1 to 10, it might be like a 1.75, just to be kind because they are my sisters and I want them to do well. If something doesn't change by next season or with the format for this show next season, I'm probably not going to be that interested. Okay, I done went too far already. Before I jump into my review of this pitiful, boring reunion, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Show me just a little bit of love because you know I do it for the likes. What other reason is there? And make sure you leave some comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on the reunion itself, on the host, on the show as a whole. What would you like to see? What would you not like to see? And then for those of you who have subscribed and you've been coming back and checking for me and all of that, I appreciate you so very, very much. You just really don't even know. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and join us. Be one of you all called yourselves tea lights or something. I don't know. We never gave you a name, but whatever you want to call yourself. Thanks for sticking around. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So again, the host, Tanika Ray, who also hosts like Ready to Love when Tommy was out, and there's a couple other shows I'm sure that she's hosted. She doesn't hold people accountable. I'm not even sure if she actually watches these shows. But there were so many times in this reunion where I wanted answers and we just didn't get them. And she would just be like, okay, well, let's just move along. Okay. So like, there was one point where she asked Tiffany about closing and how that differs from closing with the regular Joe Schmo to when she closes with like Cardi B. And so Tiffany gave her this very political answer about how I go over all the same contracts and all the same information and all of that. Don't nobody care about that. That's not what we asking here at all. And I really wanted the host to kind of tell us the difference between you not popping the same bottles at Cardi B's closing as you popping at my closing. Okay, so like give us the real, like tell us really what some of the differences are. What are some things that you consider, so to speak? Like we didn't get a full answer. When she asked Tiana about her husband having an impact on her career and, you know, how has he been able to assist her? I think she asked her, where would her career be if he weren't assisting her? And Tiana basically said that he didn't put her on. Okay, well, that wasn't the question. What we're trying to find out here is how much has he helped your career? How much of it is you and how much of it is your connections through him? Like, ask her the question and hold her accountable to answer that crap. So Robin asked Crystal a very valid question. How are you my friend? And you knew that Q had a problem with me and you didn't tell me. Crystal never answered. They did all this la-di-da back and forth childish nonsense, but I would have liked for the host to say, that's a good question. We need an answer. But it just nothing Nothing was resolved, nothing was revealed, nothing was new, except that Crystal volunteered the information about her miscarriage, which I was sorry to hear about that. It's extremely difficult to deal with, and so I empathize with her on that front. But the host didn't do anything. She really, really didn't. So Crystal went on and started talking about the tees, or really the host asked her about the t-shirts that she made. And it's just like, how monstrous of you, Crystal. First of all, let's not forget, though, completely off subject, how beautiful Crystal looked in that Tiffany blue with her gorgeous, gorgeous chocolate skin. She looked amazing. She by far looked the best of everybody on that stage. She looked fantastic. Too bad she has this really, really monstrous personality. And I think using that word triggered on Robin. And it was funny to me that she at one point said how she didn't know that Robin was dealing with an ongoing depression. Save it, because you're lying and you're full of it. You're grown enough to know that depression is not something that switches on and off like a light switch. Okay. So you know that it's going to be a constant struggle for her. And she conveniently positioned herself to her therapist and her dad as if she just said the word triggered one time. But then on this reunion show, she says, I shouldn't have said it so many times. Your slip is showing, because you said it repeatedly because you were trying to provoke. You were trying to set her off. You had a plan to set her off. And I believe that you also had the plan to sell t-shirts later. Before any of this even happened, I believe that Crystal had every intention on triggering Robin and then selling these not easily triggered t-shirts. And I just think it's nasty and disgusting. Nasty and disgusting. But she didn't even explain her process with the t-shirts. She just said, well, I have a tendency to be off color because I put business first. Anyways, that was so low. And she started talking this crap about how she comes from a lineage of beasts. And Tanika Ray, I'm so sorry. She looked so stupid when she tried to clap it up. And she's just like, can we not clap for that? And everybody's like, no. Not to mention that she ticked Robin off, and she's telling Robin that you should know this from yoga, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And Robin is like, don't play with me. Don't play with me. So next thing you know, Robin is bolting off the stage because now the host even has ticked her off. And then later in the reunion, she tried to say that Tiffany was cheering because Kira was only closing with her. And Tiffany kind of low-key checked her. It was like, no, don't do that. Don't act like that. I'm like, this host is getting no respect from these ladies. And she's just really not doing a good job. Like, I would never want to interfere with somebody's bag. But I do feel like if Tanika Ray is going to continue hosting the reunions, she needs to actually be investigative. She needs to be a little more provocative. And she needs to actually get the answers that we're looking for. Because this was just boring. This was boring, and it was a waste of my time, quite frankly. I don't really have a format for this. I jotted down a couple of notes, but I don't really have a format. I literally was just watching it on the plane on my iPad and got home and was like, I got to talk to my folks about this. But the other thing, as far as the reunion goes, that I feel is that OWN doesn't really need to do a reunion for this show. This show didn't have the kind of drama that needed to even be revisited. It really didn't. Like, it doesn't need a reunion. What I think would be best is probably what Kiana was looking for, which is to show us more of the business. Let us grow a respect and an admiration for these brilliant women in real estate, and let that be what carries the show. Like other shows like $1 Million Listing and stuff like that, do they do a reunion? I don't even think they do a reunion. Because the drama isn't necessarily this made up, produced drama where I don't like you, you don't like me. But the drama is actually in the adventures of real estate. And that's, honestly, that's what I would prefer to see. I would prefer to see that than to see a show where you're pretending to promote Black excellence, but really you're just promoting more drama and cattiness and fighting amongst women. I don't know if I'm interested in watching another season of that. I would really, really, really prefer to see more of the business, to see more of the actual excellence, to see more of their expertise and what they actually bring to the industry. But that's just me. Y'all let me know if that's what you're interested in or not. What else did I have in my notes? Mental health is such a sensitive subject. But Robin really, really had me kind of like, what the? Like, she was really, really acting nutty, to say the least. Kira said that she wanted to play peacemaker, and Robin like lost control of her mouth. And she's like, you're not a peacemaker, you're evil, and you're easily manipulated, which, there might be some truth to the easily manipulated part, but to call her evil, just like, it was really, really crazy. I don't see Kira as being evil at all. She might not be an angel, but none of them are, but she's definitely not evil. But from that point on, Robin just kind of seemed unhinged. And so Kira had mentioned how Robin was posting some questionable things on social media that made her concerned for her. So she reached out to her via her DMs, just kind of like trying to check in on her. Robin couldn't even really appreciate that because you didn't call. What? Like, this is 2022, or maybe this was 2021 when this happened. But that's not a legitimate reason to be upset with this girl. She feels like Kira was not being sincere and that she was just trying to create a record, which I don't know if I think that that's what it is. I think that Kira probably was trying to be nice. I don't think that she's a horrible person or anything like that. But Robin just kept interrupting. And she was all talking about, let's go, let's go. You had your shoes off at my dinner party. Like, it was just so immature. Meanwhile, she's calling Kira the child. At one point, she even said, y'all not gonna make me smack a kid. Like, Robin, you gotta grow the hell up at some point. The world is not against you. You are against you. You are your worst enemy. Like, you really gotta get it together. And then so when she goes off stage, she's ranting and raving, honestly. And Tiffany is kind of trying to help her see, like, you don't want her to say that you had a breakdown on social media, but it's looking like you're having a breakdown right now. And like Robin just became upset with her. At one point, Tiana was trying to calm Robin down and she touched her and Robin was like, don't touch me. I'm like, oh, something is wrong. Like, something is wrong. Crystal referred to Robin hitting her as the assault, which I guess technically, legally, you could call it that. And then when they talked about it and the host asked Robin about being physical with Crystal, Robin said, that wasn't physical. What do you call it then? She thinks that if she feels like she has a justification for what she does, then that makes it not physical. That's not how the world works. It's really, really not. And she is proud to be a mother, which is something that's wonderful to be proud of. I am extremely proud to be a mother. But what are you teaching your children? What have you taught your children about accountability and respect and maturity and ethics and morality and making the right decisions? So much about her behavior is just not okay. This reunion, this did not make her look good at all. As cute as she was in her royal blue with her tulle skirt and everything, this did not make you look good, sweetheart. It really, really did not. I was like, this is a mess. What else did I put on here? So Crystal got emotional talking about the whole mom shaming thing. And she shared that she had had a miscarriage, and it gave Tiffany an opportunity to relate to her. And I have mixed feelings on this subject because I don't want to be insensitive to anyone else, but I can actually very, very clearly relate to what Robin and Tiffany and Tiana were saying about our priorities are different when you have children. When Tiffany talked about her son, I could absolutely relate. We live in a pretty much all white town. We used to live in a all white, very, very affluent town where my son at the time was maybe 15 or 16. He and his basketball team were walking door to door, like trying to sell some kind of fundraiser for the team. And police pulled him over. Like, they didn't feel like he belonged in the area. And when I tell you, I had nothing but fear until I knew that he was away from those police officers. Like, when you have children, there is a James Baldwin once said that as a black man, to be a black man, you are constantly in a state of rage. As a mom, you are constantly in a state of worry. And so your business does not compare to my care for my children. But on the flip side, if you don't have children and you have wanted children and been unable to have them, then I don't want to throw that in your face, and I don't want to make you feel like I have something that's more important than what you have. So I can kind of understand both sides. And I felt really bad for Crystal that she had this miscarriage and that she actually does want children. And it feels to her, and probably Kiana, like when the moms say things like our priorities are different, it feels like they're throwing it in her face, although I don't believe that that's their intention. I digress. We went all off on a tangent. But anyway, so yeah, I felt like this reunion was boring. I don't need more of this next season. Like, please show me more of the real estate. Teach me some stuff. Maybe show me more of them with their families, because I was really, really enjoying Tiana and her family and Tiffany and her family. I wouldn't mind seeing more of Crystal and the polygamous boyfriend or whatever. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of that, but it doesn't have to be them doing this, because we get that everywhere else. And I would really love if OWN could give us something different. So I'm sad that Kiana left, because I thought she was amazing, but I certainly do understand. Anyways, that's all I really got on this episode. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I missed y'all. Bye. I'm so in love with you. You got me down again.